Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com. There is the title track to the new Chastain CD called We Bleed Metal. And Jerry, it is so good.
And they mean it.
And I think they do.
It is. It's that liquid metal. I've seen it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Well, here's a question I have for you.
Badass, man.
Now, we've had this show for going on 10 years, right?
Something like that, yeah.
And this is the first time that we're going to welcome to the show Leather-Leone. Welcome to the show, Leather.
Hey, thank you very much. It's an honor, I must say.
What took us so long to get you on the show?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you didn't know my phone number. I'm not really sure of that. Because my phone is always on.
Well,
it's Red's fault.
It's my fault. I'll take
We'll blame you. Okay.
Well, hey, we are really digging the new We Bleed Metal CD, and for a lot of the fans out there, we want to know how important was it for you and the rest of the band to make another album with this almost classic Chastain lineup?
I know this material is sick. I wasn't sure there was going to be another one, and that's usually up to Chastain what Leviathan's going to do. Surrender to No One, to me, it was a little iffy. I wasn't really too proud or too okay with leaving it at that. And we had written a bunch of other songs at the same time, so I just assumed we would continue to work on those. And then Chastain is the writing machine that he is, just said, I have this idea in my head about We Bleed Metal. I think it's going to be a song, or it should be a record, or it should be something. So let me work on some stuff and send it to you. Within a month, I got this record, and I loved it. And again, I think the difference is Chastain music comes from the mind of David Chastain. It's nobody else. He let me write with him, not that he let me. We wrote together for Surrender to No One. I think it made a really big difference with my input. This one is all him. That's what my answer is. This record kicks my ass. I love it.
Well, you took like 20 years off. How was that?
I did.
So what'd you do in that time?
I went on a cruise.
Oh, nice. Around the world.
I had just kind of hit a wall for myself musically. Nothing was going on for me that I wanted to go on. I have never been one of those people that music was the only thing I could do in my life. Oh, my God, that's all I can do. I gladly closed the chapter on that book when, like I said, I didn't get anyone that wanted me to be me, and I can't fake anything musically, dude.
Yeah.
I'm a metal singer. That's what I do. So I live in California. I got into animal medicine, and I got into a lot of pit bull rescue, and, that took up, I didn't realize, but that took up 20 years.
Wow, that's cool, though.
Very cool, because we're big into the animal rescue here at RMR.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
It's everywhere, and I think anyone that has a sense of being, I got my first pit, I think, shortly after Chastain, when I started interning at a hospital, I found a pit puppy across the street, and it was over. It was like when I heard Ronnie James Dio, I knew that was the next step in my life. So they kept me very busy, and I still love it.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Now, listen to the songs on We Bleed Metal. They kind of go back to a 1980s sort of sound, like the glory days of Chastain, but they also have, the modern technology of today's music. Was that a concern, or was that, a way that the whole album was coming together when you guys sat down to do it?
Well, we've always kind of talked about that, but again, I don't think we sat around with Surrender to No One or this one and said this is what it has to be. That's the way Chastain writes. And of course, we'll never come out with a thrash record, or we'll never come out with a pop record. So, and I also think that Chastain is a major songwriter. He's worked with me for so long and knows me so well. He knows what I want to say and how I want to say it. He thinks of me vocally when he writes a lot of this stuff, and he's also shredding on this record. I asked him, please shred on this record again. That's what people want to hear.
Yeah.
Surrender to No One was a little tame, for him. He was coming from a different perspective, so I think he just let it rip. And again, us being in the studio for the second time over a period of, 2 or 3 years, we fall back into that kind of Euro, Gothic-y, mystical kind of stuff. So I think it's really natural for us.
So the technology...
Once the time had passed a little bit.
Oh, sorry. The technology's changed quite a bit since you guys first got together back in the 80s.
Yeah.
As far as recording.
I miss the big studios. I miss being in the studios, wasting all that money.
Oh, I know. I bet.
Sitting around, getting everybody's feedback. Yeah, now everybody just does their pieces at home, and they send them into the big box in the sky. Yeah, I miss that a lot. But sure, technology is incredible. You know, anybody can make a record. You can make a record in a month. And
that's not always a good thing, though.
I don't know. It's cool that people can express themselves for sure, but it used to be more of a special parade, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, I miss the studios and hanging out and the feedback that you would get and people eating and, you know, talking and oversleeping. And, yeah, I do really miss those days.
Well, now, what are your plans after the release of this? Because in an earlier interview, I'd read that David is tired of touring. So are you just going to go out and do concerts being Leather-Leone, or are you going to...
That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I had the privilege of hooking up with a Brazilian promoter. When was I? What's 15? I was down there in 13, right? God, excuse me, I don't know what year it is. I went down there to Leather-Leone. I'm going to plan again on doing that next year. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I just got the... I don't know if you're familiar with Odin's festival that he does in Chicago. Every spring, the Ragnarok Metal Apocalypse, I believe he calls it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Every May. I just got that show. I've grabbed David Harbour. You remember David Harbour from For Those Who Dare.
Mm-hmm.
And I've grabbed a guitar player, Jim Dofka. If no one knows who he is, go on YouTube. He kind of... he makes a lot of good music, and he does a lot of incredible covers, Dio covers. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. You know, I'm blessed enough to where people are going to allow me to do it, so let me tell you, I'm going to do it. Yeah, Chastain's done. He's we always call him the wizard in the castle. He's just sitting in there writing all his spells, and he says to me, go do it. You go do all the, you do all the live performance, and I'll sit here and sell everything. I said, okay.
Nice. Now, you also did a duet with our friend The V on her solo
Yeah.
album, Now or Never. What is the connection between you and The V?
I got Veronica Freeman's phone number, and we kind of disagree on who it came from, but I think in 2000, 11 or 12, and I called her up one night, and her husband, who's a huge old-time metal fan, didn't believe it was me. It was a really funny conversation. So I hooked up with her then, and she had actually asked me to be on Obey. I believe that was a record at that time. Excuse me, V, if I'm chronologically off. But I told her no, I wasn't ready. I hadn't really been back in the game long enough. I didn't feel my voice was up to par. And we just stayed in touch. I met her at NAMM down in L.A., there was an instant connection for us. I don't know what it is. We're both crazed. We're both loud. We're both determined. And then she called me up for her solo record and said that her and Pete had written this song. I think she sent me just the musical version of it because she was going to change the melodies and the lyrics and everything. And then she sent it to me one day and said, when can you come? And I flew out to Arizona. And we did the song in probably I don't know, a half hour, and then we went gambling. I mean, we just have a really good time together.
well, now that you're out doing the Chastain songs and V's out doing the Benedictine tunes,
yeah, you could do a group tour.
What about a dual tour, a package tour?
We are actually in that conversation. We've been talking about it for a while. It's just a matter of who's interested and what bunch of guys would be willing to back up two crazy broads. But I think we found that. So, yeah, that's something we're definitely working on. I love being on stage with her. Benedictum allowed me to play a half set and open for them last summer running around. And it really works. We really push each other. We have this really friendly, competitive, listen to this note, I can outdo you with this note kind of thing.
Nice.
Which really works.
Oh, yeah.
I need to be pushed. I really need to be pushed. And a lot of times I'm always in my, my happy little safe little box, and I don't really get pushed out. But she pushes me with that big old voice.
Yeah.
So, I hope to have that happen soon, too.
So, listening to this album, We Bleed Metal, the only thing that I can tell that's lacking is some cowbell.
Cowbell!
What do you think?
That's funny. When we were in the studio, that's what I was saying to him. We should just throw some cowbell in there, dude, just as an homage, but...
That's all. That's what I listen
Wouldn't
for.
Wouldn't that be hysterical?
It'd be the number one album in Wisconsin. You can almost guarantee it.
Really?
Yeah.
We love the cowbell.
We love the cowbell here.
We shred.
Well, you know
cowbells.
that drummer Stan, right, from
Yeah.
Pagan's Mind.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Hell yeah.
he is just sick, and I think I said the same thing for Surrender to No One. I think that he's the one that added that modern. I mean, that drumming is just sick, and I feed off the drummer whenever I play live because I'm sure it's no surprise, but I tend to be like really unorganized and I'm really flighty, and I really like lose my spot a lot. I get so excited when I'm up there and I'm bouncing around. I always look to the drummer, not the guitar player. I always look to the drummer. So Chastain always makes sure that I hear his tracks really loud when I'm recording. I mean, he just feeds me. I think he's incredible. He's a monster.
Nice. Hey, well, Leather, what is the best place to keep up with you and what's going on with Chastain and where to get some of the catalog?
I would say, God, there's a couple places. Leviathan.com. God, I'm sorry. I think it might be LeviathanRecords.com or Leviathan.com. WeBleedMetal.com. It's all laid out there for you. You can go to Amazon. Amazon has all the information on the new record. Chastain and I are both on Facebook. Leather-Leone.com. You'll find out everything about me. David Chastain, like I said, is on Facebook. The record is out in Europe on Pure Steel Records, so you can go to PureSteelRecords.com. I mean, it's all over the place. We're blessed. It's everywhere.
All right. Well, we give our guests another chance to take another track off their new release. And which one would you like us to play?
I would like "Don't Trust Tomorrow," please. It's become my favorite.
Can you tell us a story about that song, or?
I can't. I don't really have that one in particular, except that I just had a flashback where when I was kind of practicing it at home, I kind of thought that vocally it sounded really bland, and the chorus and something was wrong, and then I just went into the studio at Chastain again with the drum tracks behind me. I just think it came together really well with the chorus, and it's just a big song, and he put a lot of, as he did with Against All the Odds, when you guys listen to the record, he put a lot of ear candy in it. He put a lot of little weird guitar things in it that when you hear it, you don't really know exactly where it came from or what it is, but and Chastain also has a joke. Whenever I record a song, at the end of every song, I said, "Damn, that's the one, that's my favorite." So every day I have a different favorite, so he's kind of like, whatever, it'll change tomorrow, but Don't Trust Tomorrow is a great track, so enjoy it.
All right, here is Don't Trust Tomorrow from Chastain. Leather, you are always welcome back here on Rock and Metal Revival.
Thank you.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radio's on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.